آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم اجعلنا من يستمع القول فيتبع أحسنه. We're going to conclude, inshallah, the topic of zakat today, inshallah. And we're going to talk about sadaqah. And we finish this chapter, inshallah. However, the zakah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the categories of the one who entitled, or the one who are entitled for the zakah. He said 8 categories. He said, إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل فريضة من الله. So this 8 categories for zakah. So now, since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the zakah, the categories of zakah, 8 of them cannot be for anything else besides this. Clear ayah in the Quran. And this ayah in Surah At-Tawbah, ayah number 60, this ayah shows here that there's there's no different opinion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions sadaqah here mean as zakah. Innama sadaqat. Sadaqah mean the zakah. So this is definitely some, of course there's fatwa here and there, but the ayah is very, very clear. So the zakah cannot be given to anyone else besides what Allah have mentioned. Cannot be given to build a masjid, cannot be given to build a hospital, cannot be given to even print a Quran. The zakah, those are the categories. Masjid, one of the most noble jobs you will do in your life, but it cannot be from zakah. Building a hospital, printing a Quran, it's not zakah money. It's not one of the 8 categories. And done deal, this is over. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned zakah lil fuqara wal masakin. Fuqara we have mentioned last week, fuqara and masakin. And Allah mentioned, even though very close, the fuqara and masakin, but fuqara is like less fortunate than the masakin. Or the masakin more fortunate. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, He said, الفقراء المهاجرين الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم وأموالهم. Allah mentioned the poor, the fuqara, al-muhajirin, the immigrant, talking about the Sahaba, when they migrated from Mecca to Medina, said they were kicked off their land and their money was taken away from them. So Allah called them fuqara. They don't have anything. And He said, أما السفينة فكانت لمساكين يعملون في البحر. Said when Allah mentioned the masakin, said they have a boat to make a living, to whatever, fish, do something. But the fuqara has nothing. So the miskin, he might have something, but it's not enough. Still Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned he is entitled for zakah if he does not have enough income. And He said, وَالْعَامِلُونَ عَلَيْهَا. الْعَامِلُونَ عَلَيْهَا, the one who, as back in the days, they used to assign some employees to bring the zakah. Zakah, there's 2 types of zakah. They call it ظاهرة وباطنة. Zakah ظاهرة means something you can see right there, cannot be hidden. For example, if we have camels, sheep, cows, farm, this is like a clear or open or exposed, if you want to call it. So this is something, or if you own a store, cell phone store or grocery store, this zakah they call ظاهرة. You can see it, cannot be hidden. And He said, it used to be to hire some people to count and see how much. He said, you have an apple farm, you have a grape farm, you have sword, you have this, you have camels, you have sheep, you have goats, then you owe zakah on it. So that worker get paid from that zakah. And also the people who divide the zakah, said this category for this people, for this fuqara, this masakin, this amilun alayha, those people also take part of the zakah. And the hidden zakah, said the zakah is called like dhahab, fidda, gold, silver, money, nowadays cash. They call this is hidden zakah. وَالْمُؤَلَّفَ قُلُوبُهُمْ. الْمُؤَلَّفَ قُلُوبُهُمْ, the 3 imams are for, they said, has to be from al-Muslimin, new convert, in areas like, their Islam is not 100%, but has to be for them alone. The zakah has to be for Muslimin and not anyone else, or they can be given to, for example, to a leader, tribe leader, and he is, for example, his people follow his his instruction, they obedient to him, he could be given part of zakah. As he said, al-mu'allafa qulub, the one who their heart is not strong with iman yet. Or there's fatwa by Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, said could be given to a non-Muslim if you think he might become Muslim, if he's in need, not to bribe him. If you think he's in need, you can give him for this case, as Imam Ahmad rahimahullah's madhab, he said you could do that. And the other three imams and others, they said no, it's only for Muslims, the zakah. So mu'allaf qulubum, from the new convert or the one who lived next to the kuffar or things like that. Then he said for riqab, the riqab, to free a slave, to free a slave. And they said for also could be paid for the war prisoners, to recompensate the enemy, and you take to pay for them, and this could be deducted from the zakah. Then he said, وَالْغَارِمِينَ, al-gharimun, the one who could be in debt for two reasons, for personal debt, or some people, especially back home, there's some community figures. If they spend their money for the people to reconcile. There's two people, like for example, there's issue between two people. He said, you know what, here's the money. And now I'm in debt because I did that. I become entitled for zakah to make up for a loss because I didn't have money. I had to borrow money to solve the problem between the brothers. So I paid out of my pocket. In this case, I'm in debt. So I could be taken from the zakah money, even though normally I'm not entitled for zakah. But now, because what I have done to reconcile between two groups or two brothers or two sisters, whatever, then I'm entitled. Or if you have a debt, personal debt, then the zakah could be given from that. Fi sabilillah, it's like open. That's the sabilillah became like people, the scholars or people of knowledge, they became like in a way, they said could be given to print some books for da'wah, only for da'wah. For example, those books will be like sufficient to answer the questions or the difficult questions by the people of knowledge for the people who have criticized Islam and so on, or to spread the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because he said, fi sabilillah, this is like, like the fight for sabilillah. So this is like spreading Islamic knowledge, is part of it. And he said, Ibn Sabil, the one who, a traveler, and he got trapped somewhere, stuck somewhere, he doesn't have money, even though back home he was rich and so on. Those are the 8 categories of zakah. One of the questions, can you pay zakah for someone who wants to make hajj? No? For example, if I don't have money and you have money, you made hajj already. Can I give me part of your zakah money to make hajj?
Is he poor?
He can't afford hajj. He's not poor, just for hajj. He's not poor. Just for the hajj. But he can afford, he living normal. He doesn't need anybody, but for hajj. You can? No. Well, the people now, they have different. Some people, they said you can for the obligatory hajj. And subhanAllah, Shaykh al-Uthaymeen said, okay, but he said, I have something in my heart, doubt. He said, why? He said, because he doesn't have money, that means he doesn't need to make hajj. Because Allah clearly said, وَاللَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ عَلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. Is the hajj become obligatory upon the people if they have the means for it? Clear. So this man, he doesn't have the means for it, so he's not entitled for zakah. And some people, they said, so definitely they are entitled. He can get the money for that. However, can you give zakat to your father or your son or daughter? Never. Can you give? No cases. If someone tell me a case, you get a gift. It can be given to pay their debt. If your father owes some money, have a debt, or your mother, or your son, the debt, not to spend on them. That's obligatory to spend on them, to feed them, clothe them, your parents and your children and your wife. That money cannot be deducted, cannot be counted as zakah. But if one of them owes someone money, he's in debt or she, then that could be part of zakah because you don't have to pay their debt. then this will become like anyone else. So definitely will become okay. So this is basically roughly the zakah. As this book here summarized the zakah, for zakah is the second pillar of Islam. The rukn, the second pillar, the pillar comes right after the salah. As we have mentioned, how many times Allah have mentioned the zakah in the Quran, and immediately right along with the salah shows. But like I said, this is summarized what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah of our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The sadaqah with the charity, right? The charity here, the sadaqah, you guys can make 2 rak'ah, sunnah, tahiyya. So the sadaqah is like, when he came here, he doesn't have to make 2 rak'ah, but he can. I said, you can make 2 rak'ah. It's rewarded, recommended. Like Salat al-Witr, 2 rak'ah before Fajr, 2 rak'ah after Isha, 2 rak'ah after Maghrib, 4 before Dhuhr, and so on. Those optional, or making qiyam. Same thing, the zakah, one thing, so the salah, Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, this is, we have no choice but to do it. We obligated to do it, so we have no option. But now, do you have to make Salat Witr? No, you don't have to. But this is an opportunity to increase. Do you have to get up at night to make Salat? No, you don't have to. Do you have to fast tomorrow, Thursday? You don't, but there's a huge reward. Same thing with charity, with the sadaqah. You didn't have to do it, but this is as from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a chance for us to increase our status in the dunya and the hereafter. Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah rahimahullah mentioned, he said, the sadaqah, like when shows the true manhood. When you are in a fight, only the brave people will remain in the fight. Same thing when the charity, only true mu'mineen, the one who gives the charity. Need to be brave. Need to have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As when you stand in the battle, you need to stand. You don't want to be coward in there. So same thing, give. Don't worry. Same thing, subhanAllah. As Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned, the hadith said, who are among you, is the wealth of his inheritors more beloved to him than his own money? Is that clear? So he was asking Sahaba, who loves his inheritors' money more than his own money? He said, none of us, Ya Rasulullah. He said, well, your money, what you have sent forth, what you have gave and donated, and the rest of it is your inheritors. So whatever you give, it's yours. Whatever you leave behind is not yours anymore. The moment a person dies, you have no say-so for your money unless you made a will. If you don't make the bequest, there's nothing. You have nothing to do with the money. Zero. And even that, you have only the right for 1/3. So 2/3, even with your bequest, you own 2/3. So 2/3 is not yours. So 1/3, you're okay. And if you forget, you're done. It's over. And here, the sadaqah, of course, comes out all the time. There's no certain time for it, or the day or the year. But there's sometimes it's more rewarded than others. As for example, salah at night, more rewarded than the daytime salah. Salah at night more rewarded than making the daily salah. The daily sunnah. So Ramadan, the Hijjah, the charity, way more reward than other days. And sometimes even there's more reward than Ramadan and the Hijjah. When is that? Anyone knows one? Yeah. The salah, the charity is more rewarded to be done, sometimes more reward and sometimes in places than Ramadan, the Hijjah, and the Hijjah. You understand? No, when the people in need for it. Imagine a person in need for the money right now, said, no, I'm waiting until Ramadan because Ramadan. No, if it need right now is more reward than Ramadan. Imagine, I'm going to wait till Ramadan or the Hajj. No. A person right now needs food. A person now needs the clothes. A person now needs to pay the rent. He's behind in his rent. Things like that. Now you're going to wait 9-10 months from now to give the charity? No. Now is more rewarded, definitely. And the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned the hadith said the most rewarded charity said when you give the money to a relative, the one who you have issues with, the one he holds an animosity against you. So this softens one's heart, subhanAllah. So of course the one who have more right, the most right for the sadaqah, your family, as Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in the hadith, he said become charity and sila. So you connect in the ties of kinship and get in the reward for charity. Double the reward. If your brother, your sister, your cousin, so on, if they need money, so you get double the reward for giving the charity and also for connecting the ties of kinship. Is the wife allowed to give charity from her husband's money? She's not?
If he's not,
At all?
If he's not doing zakah?
No charity, when that zakah is over.
Charity from her husband's money?
Yeah.
With his permission, yeah.
With his permission, she's okay. And she gets the same reward. Without his permission, she's not allowed. She cannot take money behind his back, give charity. He said, oh, I want to give charity. He has a lot of money. She can't. It's haram, definitely.
But can you do that with zakah, Sheikh?
No.
So you know how the woman had
A question later on, inshallah. Question later on. If you want to elaborate, or just a question, Q&A right here. And a lot of people here, subhanAllah, they have issues with the beggars. They come here, stand for money, especially overseas. There's a lot of them. Should we give them or we shouldn't? We should? We shouldn't? Why? Man, you're tough. So we can give something. Allah said, give something. It depends. You can evaluate the situation. If you feel like they're honest, give something. And anything, as Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam never turned someone away without giving him charity. The thing is, there's a consequence for those. The one who beg for money and doesn't need it. Make it as a job. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned the hadith. He said the man will keep on begging for money till he meets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment, and he has no flesh in his face. Skeleton, subhanallah. So there's another hadith also narrated. That first hadith muttafaq alayhi Bukhari Muslim. The other hadith narrated by Muslim. It said, whoever asks people for their money and he doesn't need just a kathran, just to increase, like a job, subhanallah. He said, as he asking for burning coal. So he can take less or more. It's up to him, subhanallah. So definitely this is something big. If they're in need, and this between them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the beautiful things in the deen, subhanallah, for the non-Muslim, if they gave charity and when they were kuffar, Allah, after they become Muslim, Allah reward them for what they have given during their kufr. As the hadith of Hakim ibn Huzam radiyallahu anhu, Allah, the hadith mentioned that Allah will reward you for the things you have done previously, even you were kafir at that time because of your Islam. The sadaqah, as any form of ibadah, the sadaqah, charity, and we could talk today about charity a lot, to even do like a fundraiser or so on. But the thing is, think about this. For your charity to be accepted, like any form of ibadah, has conditions. The first condition, what is it? Intention. Has to be sincerity, has to be for the sake of Allah. لِوَجْهِ nothing else. As the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in the hadith, he said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَّا نَوَى. Allah reward you based upon your intention. Clear hadith. This hadith authentic, hadith muttafaqun alayh. Allah reward you based upon your intention. Whatever you intended, Allah gives you accordingly, subhanAllah. And the second condition for your sadaqah to be accepted has to be from halal earning. Can someone give something from haram earning? Will not be accepted, because Allah inna Allah tayyib la yaqbal illa tayyiba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pure, doesn't accept anything less than that. So it has to be this way. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu anfiqu min tayyibati ma kasabtum. Allah said, spent from the pure thing, pure money you have earned. And he said that the third one has to be from the best part of your money. As Allah said, لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون وما تنفقوا من شيء فإن الله به عليم. And here al-bir, he said, every good thing will go under the category of bir. Everything, subhanAllah. Al-bir, he said, the route will take you to Jannah. So if you reason, and there's a hadith said al-bir, it is Jannah. You're not going to get Jannah till you give from the money you have spent. There's weak narration by Aisha. She said she used to put cologne on the gift or the donation before she gives. He said because this reaches the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before the hand of the poor person. However, has to give it from the best part of your wealth, and don't give this like the worst part. I see sometimes like people we see this when it comes to clothes donations. Some people they give, subhanAllah, you see the most beautiful clothes, nice, clean. Even they're not new, they iron, they clean, smells good. And the other, you find some stuff is really unbelievable how bad it is. So, and compare. This one donated and this one donated. So this one he given something real good, and this one given whatever. So Allah said, وَلَا تَيَمَّمُوا الْخَبِيثَ مِنْهُ تُنْفِقُونَ. He said, وَلَسْتُمْ بِأَخْذِهِ إِلَّا أَن تُغْمِضُوا فِيهِ. He said, don't give the worst part of your money or wealth, because not money, it's cash, some other donations. For example, you have fruit, the grapes or something, you give the worst part of the grapes. You have tomatoes, you have clothes, you have things like this. This Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, unless something you give the best part, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept. You don't want to give the worst. Allah said, and the ayah here said, don't choose the worst portion of your wealth and give it. Because if you were there, you will not take it. The only way you take it because you have no choice. Imagine a poor person, you give him even the money, you throw it in his face. You give him like 20 cents. You know 20 cents is not good, nothing. If he doesn't take it, said, oh, you're too arrogant. Or something even like you have, just like a piece of bread, it's like you can tell like dry, you will never eat it. Or something, food is half gone. So the thing is, and yourself, you will never take it unless you have to. You have no other choice. Always give, remember the ayah, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ. You're never going to achieve or reach the bir, which is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the highest level of giving, unless, or the Jannah, the other hadith, unless you give from the best part of your wealth. As Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, he said one time he was fasting and he had taste for fish. And I mentioned the story once before for the brother who did not attend. He is fasting, imagine fasting back in the days with the heat. Imagine the study how tough was fasting, the long hours and the heat and so on. Imagine the Arabia at that time. He was fasting and his wife made fish for him. So someone knocked on the door, said, I'm hungry. So he gave him the whole fish. The one we have taste for a long time. And back in the days, it's not easy to get a fish in Mecca or Medina. So he gave him the fish, imagine. So his wife, he told me, you could have given something else, or half of it, or some of it. Said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, said, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ. You're never going to get the bir till you give from the part you love. So this is the love of subhanAllah. And the other one, subhanAllah, this is very important, I want you to pay attention. Said, أَلَّا يَسْتَكْثِرْ مَا تَصَدَّقَ بِهِ. Allah said, وَلَا تَمْنُنْ تَسْتَكْثِرْ. Remember this. I did this in the tafsir. Sometimes a person, someone comes to you, a friend of yours, comes to you, he asks you for $100 or $1,000 or any amount of money, and he's really in need for it. And you are happy to give it to him. Because you thought about the hadith, if you remove an obstacle from your brother's way in the dunya, Allah will remove an obstacle and hardship away from you in the hereafter. So you did this for this reason, from the bottom of your heart. And you said, if he gives to me, it's fine. If he doesn't, I really don't care. I don't want it. Like if to you, he's your friend, close to you, and it is an opportunity because you know the situation he's in need. SubhanAllah, and this is your thought. And you have the full reward for it. This is one of the most beautiful tafsir for this ayah. There's many other tafsir, but I always choose this tafsir. They said, Whatever, 10, 15, 20 years later, you have issue with your friend. He says something bad about you, or you hear him something, whatever. Said, subhanallah, this guy, 20 years ago, I did this and this and that for him. So you have been rewarded for 20 years, now you just lost the reward. Meaning there's two things. The shaitan will never give up on you. He wants you to lose even the hasanat you have done before. Either bring showing off with it or something like this, then to stick there. So never think about connect this. Even if you have done this, you did it for the sake of Allah. If it was truly for the sake of Allah, you never said, I done this and this and that for him, and now he's doing this for me. شو هذا؟ يلا حجي. ها؟ صوت مستعد تفضل.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
And again, this is another tafsir, وَلَا تَمْنُ تَسْتَكْثِرْ, and the tafsir for it. So you give the money, it's different tafsir, and expecting something back in return or more than what you have gave. So it could be this tafsir or that. So you give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If this is your thought, then you're not, that charity is not going to be accepted. You expected something more in return and so on. So the other one, so you don't want to nullify your charity by throwing it in the person's face. I did this and I gave you this and this and that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تُبْطِلُوا صَدَقَاتِكُمْ بِالْمَنِّ وَالْأَذَى. So do not invalidate your charity by injury. So mean reminding the one who was given the money, the receiver, with your charity. Definitely, this one of the things has to be careful about. And the other thing, he said, to do it secretly. Allah said, إن تبدوا الصدقات فنعم هي وأن تخفوها وتؤتوها الفقراء فهو خير لكم ويكفر عنكم. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala definitely said, if you show the charity, even like showing the charity, a lot of times is important and needed. But always think about, do something hidden between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is very big. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you are able to do hidden of righteous deed, if anyone can do that, you should do so. He said, من استطاع منكم أن تكن له خبيئة. If you are able to do something خبيئة, means something hidden. خبيئة من عمل صالح, righteous deed, anything. Could be the money, given could be salah. No one knows but you and Allah. No one. No wife, no brother, no son, no daughter, nobody. Just you and Allah. And this shows here the sincerity. Like I said, sometimes it's very important to show, as Abu Bakr shows, and Umar, and Uthman, and others, and Ali, Allah, Abdurrahman bin Auf, and so on. But definitely, each one of them, they have a lot of hidden good deeds. So this is to do it secretly, unless you have to. For, like I said, for maslahah, needed to. Like sometimes when we do the fundraiser here, either because you don't want the shaitan to play with you. So the thing sometimes I don't want to do it openly. I'll do it inshallah when pipes. Then when you go home, he's never going to do it. The most part, they don't come back and do it. Either you text the person who doing the fundraiser, or right away do it, or something. And don't make this is like, especially when there's a project going on or something in need, a family, an organization. Give it right away. Give some. And then if you want to make sure, do something hiddenly or secretly, subhanAllah. And the other thing, to give it like willingly, you're happy. Don't give that person the worst look. Like I said, with a smile. Like make him sure, as one of the companions and the tabi'in, when someone, a poor person comes to their house, he said they used to welcome so much. Said, they give him the best greeting. Said, MashaAllah, welcome, ahlan. Said, the one who has given me here the hasanat. Meet him with a smile, meet him with like in a way, in the best welcoming way. So, as Rasulullah said, when the person comes, the receiver, the one who needs the charity, make sure when he leaves, he will leave and he is pleased with you. Don't throw them in his face. Do not disrespect him. Do not put him down. Don't tell him, find a job, this and this. Either you give or let it go. If you give, make sure meet all these categories. And the other thing, before we conclude today, inshallah, to do it when you are alive. Subhanallah. Allah said, وَأَنفِقُوا مَّا رَزَقْنَاكُم مِّن قَبْلِ أَن يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتِ. Subhanallah. Said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, spend from what we have given you before the death approach one of you. So the thing, the death comes quick and you don't know when. None of us knows when, subhanallah. Then he said, فَيَقُولْ رَبِّ لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي. Said, oh Allah, if you delayed my death, just for a short period, فَأَصَّدَّقْ. So I will give some charity. So the thing is, do not wait till tomorrow, day after, because you don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or not. Whatever you could do, don't miss out. Don't wait till you become, till I become rich. As the hadith for Rasulullah to give right now. Don't wait till you approach that. He said, oh, now do this 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 500 for charity, 2,000 for this, 10,000 for this organization. Do what you can as soon as you can. Because you don't know if there's going to be tomorrow or not. And subhanAllah, this ayat Allah have mentioned here, more than one ayah. And the hadith said, oh Allah, give me a chance. So I come back, so I'll give charity. Because they see the reward for the one who was given charity. They see the status, how high for the donors. Because this is something Allah knows this is dear to one's heart. This is dear to one's heart. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will want to test you with something dear to you. As the reward will someone lose a son, when you it becomes sick severely, when you give money. This is all tests from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah gives you as a test and at the same time to raise and elevate your status. So definitely here, give as soon as you can before death comes out, and death comes quickly and does not give any of us a chance, inshallah. تفضل أبو. هل يجوز صدقة